Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, October 14th, 10 a.m. PST. I am James Hongs, the founder of telehealthtoday.net, launching in November. Plenty of ways where you can make opportunities to make money. Plenty of ways where you can put yourself out there to the world and be something and be someone and be monetized for it. So as always, we have a special guest to present to you, and today is no different. This gentleman does a lot of different things, very good with innovating, bringing tech. Well, I'm going to let him explain it to you. It is a pleasure to have you here, Mr. Adeyinka. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah,
The stage is
yeah,
yours. Thank you for being here.
yeah, good to have you, Mr. James. I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited to have this meeting and have this wonderful conversation with you. So today, basically, I'll talk about innovating, elevating, and dominating the business world and the brand strategy to use. So that will be what I'll be discussing about today.
Yeah, very good. So I kind of want to ask you, like, one of the first questions to help people stay on track. So first of all, if someone goes to telehealthtoday.net, they got 100 people to choose from. Why are they going to choose you? And who is the person that's going to choose you that is the best fit for you?
Okay, the best fit for me would be anybody that wants to develop their business, anybody that needs a business strategy, anybody that knows, okay, fine, your business is doing 10%. You want to move the 10% off to move it to like 50%, 60% based on the business strategy and experience I have. Then I'm the best person for you to call on.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so walk us through that if you would.
Yeah, yeah, thank you very much. So can I go on with my presentation?
Yes, please. Yes, show us. Yes, that would be great. Awesome.
The
Thank you.
topic of my presentation today is innovate, elevate, and dominate the business world. So I want to give some brand strategy that I know that okay, fine, I've used over the years. This is a strategy that has worked for me, has worked for companies that I've worked with, worked for companies that initially, there are some companies I joined, initially they were doing like 10%, 20%. They were actually struggling with their sales and developing their business. But these are the strategies I've used that actually like increase the percentage rise from maybe like from 10% to about 50%. And these companies now presently, they've even broken even based on this strategy. So today I'm actually very excited to share these strategies with everyone here. So basically my introduction to be over 50%. So I'll be teaching towards more of the telehealth industry because I want to promote telehealth today. I want to give some strategies that we can use. And generally, I'll talk about the business generally. So over 50% of healthcare organizations are expected to embrace telehealth services by 2013. So that means by 2013, the telehealth industry is going to be so wild and so broad. So, but the question we should be asking ourselves is that how do we go from merely participating in the market to dominating it? Because what we really want to do is that we don't just want to be like, you are just participating in the market. We actually want to dominate the market. We want it to be like, okay, fine, if anybody is talking of telehealth today, we want them to talk about telehealth today. So what you will hear practical, I'll talk about the practical strategies to help businesses to innovate, to elevate their brand, and most importantly, to dominate the market. So that's what I'll be focusing on. So the first thing I'll talk about today is I'll talk about the power of innovation. What is innovation? Innovation is critical, very critical in fast evolving telehealth industry. It goes beyond technology. Innovation is not just technology, it involves improving processes to stay ahead, basically. And why are you staying ahead of? You are staying ahead of competitors. When you talk about innovation, you talk about solving pressing healthcare needs. You talk about the act of introducing something new into the market. You are innovating something. You are trying to do something someone else has not done before. And you are not just doing it. You are trying to solve a problem. You are trying to you are trying to create a solution, and you are trying to meet the market demand. So I'll talk basically briefly on the principles of innovation in business because there are several innovations in businesses, but you have to like adhere to these principles of innovation in business. The first thing is you have to anticipate future needs because presently if you are trying to innovate things, you are trying to innovate strategies, you are trying to innovate technology. You are not just doing it for the short term and you're not doing it for today. You're actually trying to think of the long term that, okay, in the long term, what is the need of people? What will be the need of people in 2030? By 2030, what will be the needs of people? So another principle of innovation you have to take paramount is customer feedback because you use a lot of insight from customers, from your patients to providers to innovate based on what they want and their user experience. Also, you talk about partnership. Who are you partnering with? You leverage collaboration to innovate faster, because without partnership, collaboration, there's nothing you can almost do alone. It is better you work with people. When you work with people, you work further than you just working alone. So what are the likely people you can actually partner with? You partner with government, you partner with NGOs, you partner with health organizations. So another principle of innovation is you foster a culture of experimentation. So what I mean by this fostering culture of experimentation is that your team members, you encourage them to test new ideas without fear of failure. It's actually very, very fine if you fail, but just know that you are trying to do something, and something is, once you are trying to do something, you surely fail at it at some point in time, but you don't stop, you keep innovating. And one major principle of innovation in business is that you have to understand the market. Like, for example, now in the telehealth industry, you can't just bring in something without understanding the market. You have to really understand the market. You have to understand the pain points of people in the market. You have to understand that this is what people actually need. Then if you understand the market flow, you'll be able to like do a lot of things in the market. So another thing I'll talk about today is I'll talk about elevating your brand. So what I want to talk about a brand is a strong brand generally earns trust and loyalty. There's something they call brand equity. If your brand has a very good equity, people don't even think about the price anymore. You might actually charge $100, you might charge $200, and there'll be another brand charging lesser than that. But because of the brand equity your brand has, people will pay for it because they know that what they are paying for, they'll get quality for it, they will get return on investment for it. So people pay for it. So there are different brand strategies to use for elevating your brand. One important brand strategy is consistency in user experience. And what do I mean by this? You have to produce the same quality of service to them every time. It's not like you produce a standard today, tomorrow you go lesser, tomorrow you go lesser. No, you have to maintain the same quality of service every time. Your messaging has to be very clear. Like, it has to be very clear. You don't have to use a robust or very complex topic to communicate to your client. No, you use something very simple to them. And another approach is customer-centric approach. What do I mean by customer-centric approach? Customer-centric approach is for every innovation, for every activities you do, you put your customers at the center. You consider your customers a lot. You think of it that, oh, my customers like this. When they like this, what my customers like? So another strategy is to position yourself as a leader in your field by sharing knowledge and insight. Like I would say, your brand is actually more important than logo. Like, for example, now Telehealth today brand is not just about the brand. It is actually more than the logo. So it is like a sum of perception the customer is going to have over time. So that is that. So one important thing again is, how do you dominate the market? Because for every business you are doing, you have to dominate the market. There are a lot of people doing it. So how do you get your market share? So one strategy or the pillar for domination is customer obsession. Yes, it is actually very fine if customers are obsessed with you, if customers are obsessed with your brand. This is what you want to do. Of course, this takes a lot of time. It's not something that comes immediately, but by being persistent in what you do, then definitely a time will come whereby your customers will be so obsessed with you. If they don't reach out to Telehealth today, they've not done any consultation. If they've not reached out to Telehealth today, they've not done any business. That is obsession. And that is the kind of business we want over time. Adaptability. You have to be very flexible with market change, because one thing about market today is that every company is trying to innovate. Every company is trying to do something new. Every company is trying to outsmart each other. So one business strategy is that one has to be very ready for change, and you have to be ready to adapt to the change. So another strategy to dominate the market is that one has to be at the top of their game, like different strategic marketings like SEO, the search engine optimization. So if anybody should press, oh, I need a consultation for this, what you should bring out is Telehealth today for you. This is one strategy that is going to like improve, like, or make your brand actually like dominate the market by having strong digital presence. Another thing I explained earlier is building strong relationships. So who do you build the strong relationship? You build with key areas like the key opinion leaders in organizations, like maybe like with the government parastatals, with the health institutions. You have to like form a formidable partner with them. So one strategy to dominate also is to develop a niche. If it is business you are doing, you have to like, this business part, you are doing it very well. And you focus on scalability. What do I mean by scalability? If by 2025, Telehealth today has, for example, has 200 customers, we have to like look at it that, okay, fine, by Q2 2025, Telehealth has to move from 500 to 1,000. By Q3 2025, Telehealth has to move from 500 to 1,000 to 1,000 to 1,500. That is the scalability. And that is one strategy to dominate also. So one difficult thing in innovating is one has to balance between brand innovation and brand integrity. You have to balance between the integrity you have and the innovation. Because the challenge is, how do you innovate while staying true to your brand values? Because one thing about innovation is that innovation might actually question some of your brand values, but how do you stay true to this? So one solution is you have to be consistent in the message you pass that reflect the brand mission as a new technology into. And another important strategy to avoid you mixing innovation with your brand integrity is avoid dilution. So what do I mean by avoiding dilution? Avoiding dilution means like you have to ensure that your innovation actually aligns with your core values. Like what are the core values of Telehealth today? Irrespective of your innovation has to align with the core values of the organization, because innovation is going to question your core values, but no, you shouldn't allow it to question your core values. And one important thing again is that you have to earn customer trust. Every change should strengthen the trust your customers has for you and not to weaken it. You don't want to weaken your customer trust. What you want to do at every point in time is you want to strengthen the trust they have for you. So practical steps to implement in business generally to improve your audience is by conducting market audits. So what do I mean by market audit? Market audit has to be like, you have to like understand the gaps in the market. You have to understand, okay, fine, this service I'm providing, what gap is it filling? And you have to look out for new opportunities also. That is what I mean by conducting a comprehensive market audit, by identifying the gaps and identifying new opportunities. Another way is to focus on customers or users' experience. You have to like emphasize and focus really on it. You have to move close to your customer. For every time they come to Telehealth today's site, for every time they interact with a practitioner on Telehealth, what do they gain? Are they satisfied? What is their satisfaction rate? Is it 10/10 or is it 1/10? So one has to take that also into consideration. So one other way is to build relationship with healthcare providers, because one strategy is that healthcare providers can easily like recommend or refer people to you. You have to partner with the KOLs, key opinion leaders in every organization, and even the customer. So one strategy again is to use a data-driven approach. You have to like have a comprehensive knowledge of data in you. So that is it. So one interactive. So to conclude, basically, because I said I want to make it as fast as possible, not to really bore people. To dominate any industry, one must innovate constantly. You must elevate your brand by earning customer trust and strategic expansion. So the best way to predict the future is to create it. That is a popular saying by Peter Drucker. I don't know if you know the man, a philosopher. He said the best way to predict the future is to create it. So I'm going to close on this remark that let's take the two we have discussed and transform together. So thank you very much for your time.
Wow, that was quick. Yeah, no, you go fast. I go fast. The best way to predict the future is to build it. I love that. That was a great way to end it. But yeah, no, so let's jump in a little bit. Let's just give people a little bit of a better idea. You focused a lot about community. You said it's not a brand, it's a community, keeping your customers at the center point of your focus and always focusing on them. What are some of the ways that you monitor or, feel out your customers? What are some of the ways that you recommend that your clients actually get the feedback from your customers to make sure they're happy, to make them happier, to create that innovation that you're talking about to take the company to the next level?
Yeah, one way to actually do that is by, on the website, we can actually put like a rating side there. For every practitioner you interact with, what is your rating? Are you giving the practitioner 10/10? Are you giving the practitioner 5/10? And there should be a room for feedback where the customer can easily like express their feedback. They can express their expression, not even with the practitioner, but with the brand generally. So that is one strategy that can actually be utilized.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. You want to get feedback on everything you do. That makes sense. Especially in business, to follow your customers and follow them down the sales funnel, if you will. So yeah, no, I appreciate that. And so when you get the feedback and you now, well, okay, no, so let's say this. So if you have a new client and what's the steps that you take to implementing all your solutions? Like, in other words, when you get a new client, I'm sure you do a discovery phase where you learn all about them. Give us an idea of how that looks, how much time that might take, how quick someone could get results. Let's say an entrepreneur has got a new business. He books with you because he wants to, improve the numbers on it. What does that look like? How do you do a few discovery calls and then you implement some sort of action? How does that look?
Yeah, it is actually not a easy step. I'm not going to lie to you. It is not actually very easy because it takes a while before you take your customer from the awareness phase to decision phase to consideration phase. It is actually steps because for every customer you meet now, what you're trying to do is that you take them to the awareness phase. You want to acclimatize them with what your brand does. Then after that, it takes a while before you take them to the consideration phase, before you take them to the decision phase, before they make the final decision. So one thing is, while you are taking them through this process, you detail what's the benefits of your brands to them. So like I would say, the first thing is to understand their pain points. You have to really understand.
No.
To come with. But the first thing, or let me say the shortcuts, is to understand their pain points, understand what they need, understand how they need it, and when they need it. So if you can answer those questions, believe me, you've got the customers, and the customers are yours already.
That's good. And you talk about understanding your customers' pain points, and I know you do that. Is that mostly done just through feedback? And when you request feedback from them, then you understand what their pain points are. I mean, I completely agree with you. To know your customers is to serve them, and that's kind of the approach that you're taking by. So, are you actually like implementing different ways of collecting feedback to help you with that?
Yeah, like you said, am I using different methods to collect feedback? Of course, there are several methods you use in business. You don't just stick to one business. Like I said, the rating is part of it. The customer might even just put maybe like a box somewhere. They drop their reviews there. So there are several ways to collect reviews from customers. Several ways. You don't just stick to one way. Like, okay, fine, this is one way. No, because people are different. What works for one person might not work for another person. Some people, when they visit the site, they don't even have the time to click or to give you any rating. They give you a physical or verbal feedback. So there are several ways to utilize. Several ways.
Okay, very good. And what would you say is if someone's looking at their business and they're watching you and they're saying, I don't know, I wonder if I can make this better. What would be like the number one sign they need to call you? You can help because they noticed this about their business.
Yeah, you should actually reach out to me if you need a lot of strategies for your businesses, you need market research, you want to analyze the business, you want to analyze it from the financial part, you want to analyze it from the data part. I'm actually very good with these tools when it comes to using data to analyze how your business has grown over time. I can use that. When it comes to the finance part, like using your figures to actually like analyze your business. This is one actually very good thing I'm good at. And I'm actually very good with developing the scope of your business. Because if your business is actually doing this, what comes to my mind is I'm actually looking at it from the angle that what can your business do to give you this? If your business is earning $100,000, for example, in a year, what comes to my mind is that what can we do to increase this business from 100 million to 500? That is how I think. That is how I see businesses. I don't believe business should, if a business is doing $100,000 this year, next year the business shouldn't do 90 or should do the same 100. The business at that point should do times two of what it's doing. So my own concern basically is I try to see it I try to see the strategies. I try to see what the business is, what they are doing right. I try to see what they are not doing right. I try to see how I can actually I try to see the loopholes in businesses to actually help them promote their business. So that is one thing I'm very good at.
That's good. That's good. And from what I hear about from you and other things that I've read too, it sounds like you're very talented and very good at using data and organizing it so that you can get the appropriate information from it.
Yeah. Yes.
That's like your specialty, huh? You use all this data, put it all together, and do you use like pie charts or graphics, or what's your go-to when analyzing this data? Like, how do you put it together?
Sometimes I use different tools. Sometimes I use Power BI. I'm very good with Power BI. Sometimes if I see the data are not too complex, sometimes I might just make it easy for myself by using Excel sheets. Excel sheet is also very good with. And sometimes I use different tools. I'm very good with Power BI and I'm good with Excel. So I use those tools basically to analyze my data.
Very good, very good. Okay, well that was very good. You go fast, but I like it. You keep people interested. You covered a lot of things. Last words or anything else?
Yeah, I think my last word, my closing remark would be these tools we have, this business strategy we have, this business skills we have, let's take it together. Let's use it to transform the business world together because it is not a one-man job. Even though you have the knowledge, you need people to work with. You need people to buy into your ideas. You need people to see the vision you are seeing. You need them to look into the future you are seeing. So it is a win-win for everybody. So I'm calling on everybody to let us work together, to let us work as a team.
That was awesome. Those are great last words. I mean, together, what is a team? Together, everyone achieves more. Like that was great.
Yeah,
That was great.
yeah let's win together.
Yeah. Now we can all use help, even if we don't admit it. And the people that that go out and accept the help are going to be the ones that prosper the most. So, no, I love what you're doing. I appreciate you being here, and it was great to have you. Thanks for
Yeah,
everything. And to all our
yeah,
viewers at home, yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, appreciate it. No, and
thank
to all our viewers at home, if you have a business and it's sitting still, it's not growing as fast as you want to, there's room for improvement, or even if you think it's doing great, but you want another helping hand, please go to Telehealth today, book with Mr. Adeyinka, and he'll provide you all kinds of charts and analytics to validate your business concepts and possibly show you what you're missing. But it was great to have you. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And thank you
Bye.
all for watching. Please join us in November when we launch. Plenty of good stuff coming. Thank you all.